Hello, I am glad to greet everyone. May God bless everyone and may everyone receive the bread of life from above. Know the Lord who is merciful, loving, and rejoicing. Believe, do not despair, but rejoice, because God is with us. Today I want to share what God has revealed. Prophets were the hands of God in the sense that they rebuked their people, including those closest to them, brothers, sisters, parents, and communicated God's will to all people. If words were not enough, they took action, using images, objects, showing that God was warning, remove the burden from yourselves. The prophets put on a yoke, walked in the city, lived in the wilderness, and lived a very modest life. By this, they showed the contrast between their deliberate poverty and people's love of luxury and wealth. Their example exposed human sin, which people did not want to understand, accept, or hear. The prophets were always one step ahead of the people, for God was with them. Their actions were often perplexing. When the people rejoiced, the prophets remained serious. But when the people were sad, the prophets could be in joy. God entrusted them with different tasks, but what all the prophets had in common was that the people often did not accept them. However, that is not the main point. The main point is their deep connection with God, based on humility and the realization of their sinfulness. In times when the people turned away from God, the prophets remained the only light that could heal the people, warn them of their troubles, and show them the way to salvation. The people, having rejected the prophets, inevitably fell into calamities and then followed the prophet because everything he said came true. Prophets were strong, beautiful people, chosen by God, who loved him sincerely and sought the truth. They were honest, just, and righteous, always seeking truth in their actions and in their relationship with God. They did not seek fame, wealth, or honor, but lived in harmony with God's will, even when it was difficult and incomprehensible to the people around them. The key to God's blessing is in humility and the realization of one's spiritual poverty. This realization opens the door to true fellowship with God and the grace He gives. Without this, true fellowship with God is impossible. Man who does not recognize his sinfulness goes his own way, the way of unrighteousness, the way of darkness and delusion. And God, being righteous, cannot communicate with the unrighteous. This fundamental principle determines the spiritual condition of every person, whether prophet, apostle, teacher, worker, mother, or saint. Only through humility and the realization of one's sinful nature is true salvation possible. Humility, recognizing one's sins and seeing the real self, is the cornerstone of a normal life, a life of God's presence, grace, and righteousness. This is the secret of intimacy with God and spiritual growth. May each one of us strive for it. May each one open his or her heart to the truth to find peace and joy in God's love.